Fed stability report is out. This time it is released at a time which is critical for the economy. While going through the report, it seems Fed is definitely sweet courting an alarming situation. There is expectation of a big crash in near future. So guys, today in this video, I am going to talk about all the highlights of this report, which we should be discussing as an investment community. I will also help you understand what those means for us. So let's start. Fed's Financial Stability Report or FSR is an important indicator of how the economy is currently holding up. It is imperative for anyone who works with the economic variables to understand what the Fed has to say for the current quarter. The US Federal Reserve releases the stability report twice a year. One is in May and the next is in November. As the November report is out, we are probably looking at a prediction of a big crash, probably a black swan crash. Fed makes some major observations on the economy through this report. This can give us warnings or positive nudges sometimes. This time the most prominent observation that Fed has made is that the price of riskiest assets had gone high. The prices had increased sharply since the May 2021 report. According to the Federal, only high-risk assets are in trouble. However, the reality is somewhat different. All assets are soaring high in their prices. In general, the prices are going higher and higher for everything. And guys, this is not good. So basically, all asset classes are under the risk of a crash. Pandemic has contributed to the rise in price. However, on the hindsight, it's the uncounted economic policies from the Fed that has actually contributed to this situation. Inflation is going high at an alarming rate, which is at 6.2% now. Initially, Fed had justified that this is just a transitory inflation, which is normal and expected. Janet Yellen and Jeremy Powell has reinstated that the prices will come down soon. As the economy adjusts and the pandemic comes under control, the global economy would come back to normal. This will cause the inflation rates to come down. These were their exact words. On the contrary, inflation has been high for periods longer than it should be, and the rates are higher as well than it should be. As per Fed standards, 2% inflation is acceptable. On this basis, the rate of 6.2 seems far-fetched and kind of out of hands. Guys, as per the CNBC reports, Jeremy has said that the current inflation spike is a consequence of supply constraints meeting very strong demand. The reopening of the economy will resolve these things. He also said that it will take time for these variables to take effect, mentioning the fact that we cannot say how long this will last. It is crystal clear that Fed has no idea how long this inflation is actually going to last. While they are blaming it all on the pandemic, the reality is that they had lost their grounds in planning the policies properly. So clearly, Fed cannot be trusted. The Financial Stability Report definitely has sensible indicators. It is worked out by some of the qualified economists of the country. However, the fact that Fed comes up with this report by itself gives possibilities for them to justify their actions in the same. They cover their mistakes and talk about any anticipated tragedies in the mildest way possible. I mean, they cannot go the other way around. Fed cannot talk outright about an upcoming crash and create panic in the whole country. The point is, we need to read in between the report to see the subtle ways in which Fed is warning about a possible crisis. The mentioning of high prices for the so-called risky asset is one indication that there is a possible big crash. Specific asset classes like equity and real estate has prices which are not exactly compatible with expected cash flows. House prices are getting higher at a faster rate than rent growth. Equity prices is going higher than the earnings growth, and this is happening consistently. Fed has also observed that despite of increased house prices, the credit standards have not fallen. Also, leveraged investment activity in the housing market is also less. This is considered as a positive sign. At the same time, the increased equity and house prices remain vulnerable to significant declines if the economic recovery is stalled or if investors became risk averse. The key metrics like debt to GDP ratio, interest coverage ratio, and debt service ratio have turned to pre-pandemic levels. It is notable that Fed has mentioned about the limitless government support given, which helped most businesses. Sustained earnings growth and low interest rates have benefited all. Mortgage bearers have benefited from borrower relief programs and federal stimulus. Here, Fed is trying to justify the same policies which has caused an out-of-control inflation in the economy currently. Guys, at the same time, the uneven nature of recovery is considered risky in the report. Once the government support programs are withdrawn, the vulnerability could be exposed. Another positive factor discussed was that the profitability of banks has become much stronger. The capital ratios have exceeded the statutory requirements. At the same time, NIM or net interest margins of banks have suffered due to its credit to vulnerable sectors. Also, hedge funds and insurance companies were leveraged than normal levels, which is not acceptable. There are also some observations on funding risk. Funding risk pertains to banks' challenges, which might come in fulfilling short-term financial obligations. Liquidity problems causes funding risk. The report says that most of the local banks have meagerly relied on short-term wholesale funding. Short-term wholesale funding refers to a bank's use of short-term deposits from other financial intermediaries like pension funds. These short-term funds are used to invest in long-term assets like loans to businesses. The less amount of short-term wholesale funding has reduced the funding risk to a great level for banks. Also, banks hold high-quality liquid assets, which is good. The structural weakness in money market and other cash management vehicles were not that large enough to cause much risk to the system. So the main problem Fed put across now is the high asset prices. Maybe they recognize that we are in a bubble. The truth is that all valuations are high. Share prices are pumped up. Based on these high values, companies are forecasting their earnings. This is a recipe for a steep crash. If you do an actual growth projection, they won't have this much value in the future. Apparently, S&P companies are doing good with good projections. Really? Such fake projections will attract wrong investments, which will all fall flat within a few months. This is happening in the real estate sector as well. The capitalization or the yield of the property have reduced a lot. Caps rate is the rate of return based on the net operating income a property can generate. As a general rule, caps rate and property value would be inversely proportional. However, currently the gap is alarmingly wide. The home valuations are really high at the moment. When the economy comes back to normal, all these rates are going to come down. Asset values will crash. So Fed fears a crash in the economy. One catalyst can be the high asset prices and another one is the real estate of China. China's collapse might cause the US economy badly. If you don't know, real estate is the biggest contributor to China's economy, and China's economy is the world's largest one. Many developers are defaulting in China real estate sector. They are at the edge of a major crisis. Fed realizes that the situation in China can worsen things in US as the economy is already at a fragile point. Fed has also mentioned about stable coins of cryptocurrency can also be a catalyst for a crisis. Fed's FSR represents the current assessment of the resilience of the US financial system. The board intends to promote public understanding through the publishing of the biannual report. It is supposed to increase transparency and accountability for the Fed's views on the topic. Providing financial stability to the country is a key element for the Fed through full employment and the stable prices. So a continuous monitoring of the country's financial stability is required so that Fed can take regulatory and supervisory activities at the right time. This leads to safety of the nation's banks and other important financial institutions. The salient risks mentioned in the report are indicators for the Fed to take actions on the same and for the citizens to be cautious. Now guys, if you want to know how Russia is predicting a black swan crash and what exactly they are doing to protect themselves from it, then tap your finger on this video.